Good morning everyone. Welcome to Bowl's Theory of Everything. This video gives tips on how to bowl to full-length jacks on indoor rinks or fast outdoor rinks. What is a full length? That's bowling tee to tee on your rink. There's that tee there, and it's bowling down to the far jack, which is also on the tee. So that's what we mean by full length. But of course your rink may be short or long. The minimum length tee to tee is 27 metres and the maximum 36 metres, quite a range. The most common tee to tee length indoors is 32 metres, and this rink here is in fact 32.5 metres. By contrast, Potters, the home to the World Indoor Bowls Championships, has a full length of only 28.5 metres, quite short. So, don't be too discouraged if your bowl does not get as close as those of the wonderful players at Potters. Bowling 5.5 metres further makes it much more difficult for you if you're on a long rink. I'll just demonstrate this on a chart I've got. So here we have the mat here, the minimum distance 23 metres, Potters 28.5 metres, and here is 32.5 metres is where we are. And some of the longer rinks, there's one at Clacton that I've bowled at, there's one at Jack's in Malden, Essex, that I've also bowled at. They come in at 34 metres. So you see here that at Potters, there's only 5.5 metres between the minimum and their maximum. On the long rinks, there's 11 metres difference, twice as far. The adjustment has to be twice as much on the long rinks. So that just shows you what the contrast is. But today I'm bowling here on our average 32 metre rink. The long jack and short jack demand different skills. The head is inclined to develop in different ways. It's not as different as indoor as outdoors in difference, not that different, but it is different, particularly when you're bowling on the extra long rinks. I'm going to discuss those differences of bowling in my next video. Today, I'm going to look at two aspects of bowling to a full-length jack. First, the basic skills required to bowl to a full-length jack, and secondly, the skills required to switch from a short jack to a long jack. So, basic skills to bowl to a full-length jack. Look at the jack carefully. You need good eyesight and perseverance to make sure you get it clearly in your mind. Don't just look at it. It has to go into your subconscious, if you like. If you cannot see the jack clearly, get your skip to show the length with his feet, stand there, or where the nearest bowl is to the jack. Bowl your normal delivery style. There's a temptation that you jerk it or you push it. You think, I've got to get down the other end, and you push it. There's no need for that extra push. Your body should automatically bowl to the length required by making the necessary movements, i.e. it will automatically make a long backswing and a long enough stride to get you down to the other end. However, if you find you're still not getting the weight, you may have to put in a manual override, i.e. force yourself to take that longer swing and stride and exaggerate your follow through. And then once you've got that into your system, it'll be in your muscle memory and you can relax again. Remember, a relaxed swing is more likely to get you down to the other end than a jerky, tense swing. So, what are the skills required to switch from the short to the long jack? Well, there are no extra skills required. Just look carefully at the jack and the different lengths that you're bowling to. Your body, it goes into your mind, your body will do the rest. You have to concentrate on clocking the jack wherever it is. Don't just bowl vaguely at an area. Look carefully at the jack. If you don't, you'll find that you're defaulting to a kind of mid-length bowl. You've got a standard bowl which is kind of an average length. And what will happen is, if you don't look carefully at the jack, you'll default to this average length and you'll find yourself bowling long on a short jack and short on a long jack. You won't make that necessary actual length. When switching your length, let your mind control your body to make the adjustment. If you think limbs first, if you think I've got to do this and I've got to do that to get down to the other end, I've got to swing fast and so on, you'll find that you may be over adjusting. Then you'll curiously probably bowl long on the long jack. You think I've got to get there, you'll extend everything. You've got to do it naturally. When you see me bowl or any other bowler bowl at Potters or any player that's getting these lengths, you'll find it doesn't look any different whether they're bowling on a short or long jack. The long jack doesn't appear any effort, so it has to be the same smooth swing. Okay, practicing. And this is a great one to practice. Of all the practicing you can do, bowling length and changing length is one of the best. I have shown you on a previous video recently the importance of making small adjustments. Well, that's an excellent tool to have in your bag because quite often you end up a yard short, 2 feet short, and you have to make that adjustment. Today though, I'm going to be just showing you something different, bowling to the short and long jack. So here we go. So what you do, you put a jack down on the minimum, jack down on the maximum, and you switch alternately. So you have to be very careful to look at the jack, and you should see that my delivery is pretty much the same whether I'm bowling short or long. So this is a short one, and that's not bad. And now I've got to look carefully at the one at the end. You should see that my bowl, I'm not jerking or not pushing it in any way at all, but I'm looking carefully at the jack. Take my time, look carefully at that down the other end, and got the right line. I'm still bumping it a bit, but bear in mind this is 9.5 meters longer. I just got that. That's not bad. So that last bowl was about a yard short. I'm now going to put that extra adjustment on and look carefully at the jack. And let's see if that's a bit closer to the jack maybe. Yeah, it would have been just slightly narrow, but I had the extra weight there. One more. Now I'm going to switch back to the short jack, and you should notice that there's not a lot of difference between a bit more compact, but that's what my mind's telling my body to do. So you're still but you're still bowling that smooth delivery if you can get it. Right, so they're the differences. So next week I'm going to show you the difference. The tactics of bowling short or long makes a big difference. Some people bowl well on short jacks, so therefore you put the long jack and vice versa. So the trick is that play to your strength, but if somebody does switch, you've got to have enough skill to be able to get a shot on that long length, for example, and come back to your favourite length. So I'm going to show those because the short jack is a different game, a different tactics, because it's closer. There's different tactics. You'll see, I'll give all the detail next week. See you then. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.